Over a longer time horizon, how concerned are you about the potential impact of the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency?
Did you just see that? The U.S. Treasury sign falling apart right as they're asked if they're worried about the dollar. I mean, that doesn't get any more symbolic. Simulation confirmed. America's debt skyrocketing, inflation eating away at savings, and the Treasury quite literally crumbling. We're just 8 days out from one of the most critical elections of our time, and this isn't just about who gets the Oval Office. This is about the future of sound money and the greatest bull run Bitcoin has ever seen. Imagine a future where the US just doesn't hold Bitcoin but buys it daily. Income taxes are abolished and we're on a path toward financial freedom. America on a Bitcoin standard. Sound like a dream? Well, this election might be where that dream begins. I'm Rustin, head of news at Simply Bitcoin, and we've got some massive news to get to. Send it.
The smallest ever trough to peak rally for a Bitcoin cycle was 2,000%. If we do half of that, that'd be 1,000%. That'd be roughly 180,000.
When does this all go down?
I think after the election will be a significant catalyst. We have a model that assumes that by 2050, this is very long term, that Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset that's used in global trade and held by global central banks at a very modest 2% weight. And in that model, we arrive at a $3 million price target for Bitcoin. Now, that sounds, extreme, but that's a 16% compound annual growth rate for a couple decades. That's not really that extreme.
Let's start with the basics. Why is Bitcoin the answer? Well, the dollar has been slowly losing value for decades. Inflation isn't low. It's stealing from anyone who holds dollars. Take a look at this tweet from Carl Menger that says it all. I don't want to wake up at 65 and realize my 70,000 plus hours working a 9 to 5 have been devalued by inflation because some central planner wanted to enrich himself and his buddies. Go f*** yourself. Reminder, Bitcoin is insurance against government theft. And as usual, Menger is right. Bitcoin is sound money. It's fixed in supply, transparent, and immune to the manipulations of central banks, not to mention politicians. And compare that to the dollar that's on a steady path to oblivion. Okay, now here's the silver lining. Every 4 years, Bitcoin has these explosive bull runs, and they're almost always coinciding with major world events. It's just crazy, but especially elections. The Bitcoin therapist, well, he called it 8 days. Until the Bitcoin God candle. What does that mean? It means the perfect storm is forming. This election could send Bitcoin into an upward trajectory like we've never seen before. And why? Because Bitcoin isn't just insurance. It's hope and it's freedom. Hey, let's imagine for a second America on a Bitcoin standard. This isn't just a pipe dream. Imagine a United States where instead of printing more dollars, the government is stacking sats, DCAing 100 to 500 Bitcoin every single day to build our national reserve. And here's the kicker. We ditch income taxes. That's right. No more taxing your paychecks. We stimulate the economy with sound money, not government handouts. And that, my friends, is a society where everyone benefits, not just the wealthy elite. And that is currently on the table. Sounds crazy. Well, remember El Salvador. They started buying 1 Bitcoin a day in 2022. Now Bitcoin is over, what was it, like 69K already? At the time of this recording, it's 69K. Probably higher by now. And they're holding $400 million worth of Bitcoin. Again, that's higher now. But El Salvador is proof that this can work, and if a small nation can do it, imagine what the U.S., well, is about to achieve. And don't forget, let's talk about the big players coming into the game. Look at BlackRock, one of the world's largest asset managers. Well, they've quietly scooped up over 400,000 Bitcoin, and they're not alone. They're reportedly in talks with major tech companies, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, about adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets. The Bitcoin therapist hit the nail on the head when he tweeted that BlackRock wants its Bitcoin ETF to be the premier spot ETF in the world. And to do so, they're going to need big tech on board. This is all about to create a Bitcoin buying frenzy like we've never seen. I mean, think about it. Big tech will be scrambling to keep up with MicroStrategy, which, by the way, is up 550% this year alone because of their Bitcoin holdings. Michael Saylor knew what was coming, and he's been preaching it for years.
So Bitcoin has accumulated the most physical power in terms of electricity, the most computer power in terms of hash power. It's accumulated the most economic power. 700, 800 billion dollars of real money has been invested in it. It's got the highest market cap, worth 1.3, 1.4 trillion, and it's accumulated the most political power, hundreds of millions of people who are passionate about defending it. And so how do you know it's not working? Well, if someone came along and launched something that was more popular with intelligent people, then I guess it wouldn't be working. But of course, Bitcoin's been growing first 200% a year, then 100% a year. Right now, it's still growing 40 to 50% a year. So it's a monetary virus that's spreading, and it's extracting the capital from all other capital assets. Right? So the proof that Bitcoin is winning is the performance of Bitcoin is 5x the performance of the S&P index. And Bitcoin is outperforming gold, outperforming the S&P, outperforming every individual stock, outperforming bonds, outperforming cash, outperforming real estate. What do you see? You see intelligent people with money voting with their money. And what they're doing is they're selling the weak assets, buying the strong asset.
Now, here's the thing. This isn't just about big institutions. It's about people taking back control. Tweets like Manger's that call out the fiat system's modern-day slavery resonate because they're true. Go to school, get a job, work 60 hours a week, retire broke because your savings have been eaten alive by inflation. That's the reality of fiat life, but Bitcoin changes that. It fixes this by creating a system where no one can manipulate your money. That's why we say Bitcoin is freedom. It's a chance for people to opt out of the rat race, to escape the endless cycle of debt and inflation. And you're seeing it everywhere. Kanye even said it himself. Simulation confirmed. Roll it.
I was talking to my man Fred and my boy Anthony about crypto and Bitcoin, yesterday, just to be prepped for this conversation, and not about the specifics of alternate currencies, which is like AC, which is like Tesla. But this is how my mind just goes on these like riffs right here. But Jack Dorsey decentralized Twitter 2 months before it really hit because he was talking to the Bitcoin guys. And these are guys that really have a perspective on what the true liberation of America and humanity will be. These guys, a lot of specifically these guys, but a lot of the tech guys were able to use the new highways, the new information highways, and create the next frontier.
I know it's an old clip, but it still slaps. Okay, now let's talk about the elephant or the orange man in the room. Trump, love him or hate him, his odds of winning are sky high, standing at 67%. And he's bullish on Bitcoin.
I want Bitcoin.
He even learned that by using shitcoins, you go broke, and he had to go back to McDonald's and become Employee of the Month to build up his street cred to get on the Joe Rogan podcast. It's my theory. I mean, basically, the orange man has said, Bitcoin's going to the moon, and I want America to lead the way. Think about it. An orange president who supports Bitcoin, who wants to bring America into a new era of sound money? What's going on here? I mean, that would be a place where the government can't just print its way out of debt. It's a game changer. And if he wins, the path to a Bitcoin America could be closer than ever. And he is not alone. Elon Musk, well, he's talking about cutting government spending by $2 trillion. Roll it.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
All right, folks, we're 8 days out. 8 days from a massive turning point for Bitcoin America and the future of sound money. We better get on it, because if you see, Russia's cooking something up as we speak.
This is a very bullish setup for Bitcoin into the election. We saw the exact same pattern in 2020 where Bitcoin lagged with low volatility. And then once a winner was announced, we had a high vol rally as new buyers come into this market. And that's the great thing about Bitcoin, is that every day there's new buyers being born. It's kind of like the video game industry. The olds who hate it die off. The new folks are buying it. And what we think is that Once the election result is finalized, Moody's is going to downgrade U.S. sovereign debt, and that could be a catalyst. It's an emerging markets asset. And while we were all hyperventilating about the election over the last week, BRICS had a conference in Russia. There's 6 new members of BRICS this year. So BRICS GDP is now greater than the combined GDP of G7. Of the 6 new members, 3 of them, Argentina, the UAE, and Ethiopia, are now mining Bitcoin with government resources. So there is tremendous urgency outside of the U.S. to find a way to circumvent the irresponsible fiscal policy that we've been running. In fact, Russia announced an initiative there. Sovereign Wealth Fund is going to invest in a regional initiative to build Bitcoin mining and AI infrastructure throughout BRICS with an idea of settling global trade in Bitcoin. So someday, I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years, Putin's going to die. We're going to look to reintegrate some of these countries into the world financial system, and they're going to be trading with Bitcoin. What are we going to be doing?
We got to front ran those guys. Buckle up. This next week could bring the God candle, a massive surge for Bitcoin. We're talking about the kind of bull run that shatters records and brings in investors from every corner of the world. This Bitcoin Archive tweeted, Bitcoin relative to gold hasn't made a new all-time high since November 2021. Bull mania starts when this breaks up. So ask yourself, are you ready? Are you prepared for what's coming? Are we about to enter the golden age for Bitcoin? Is America going to lead the way? Hey, it's definitely time to get excited because we got history in the making. It's times like these to heed the plebs' warnings and get your Bitcoin off exchanges. Remember, not your keys, not your cheese. If you're looking to learn how to self-custody your Bitcoin and truly own immutable money, you're going to want to check out our sponsors, the masters of Bitcoin self-sovereignty, the Bitcoin Way. Simply Bitcoin Originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They've got 25 years of experience in cybersecurity. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. Whether you're just getting started setting up your first Bitcoin wallet or node, or you're looking into UTXO management, multi-sig security, inheritance planning, or accepting Bitcoin payments, they've got you covered. Time to go from the why Bitcoin to how Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin Way will hold your hand and guide you through every step of the process. Hey, if you're looking to get started, you can book a free 30-minute call using that link below. Hey, if you're ready to see a new America powered by Bitcoin, make sure you're here in 8 days. We'll see what the hell happens. Like, share, subscribe, give us a pat, and spread that sound money gospel. And tell us in the comments if you think America will adopt a Bitcoin standard. Are we knocking on Satoshi's door? You bet your ass we are. Hey, remember, stay humble, stack sats, and send it. Catch you all next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, f*** you.